It's time now for the VIC Video News Crime Watch for the week ending November 25th, 2022. In Jamaica, Rohan Early B. Rose was again remanded to prison when he appeared on Wednesday for a bail hearing. The 47-year-old security guard was arrested earlier this month and charged with misprision of a felony in connection with the murder of social media influencer Aneka Townsend. Despite Rose's lawyer, Martin Thomas's plea that imprisonment was taking a toll on his client and his family, the court said it was not ready to hear his bail application. Prosecutors say they were still trying to piece together information, such as Rose's address. However, Thomas argued that prosecutors had more than enough time to find this information, since Rose had made 3 court appearances since his November 4th arrest, during which it was made known that a bail application would be filed. Defense counsel argued that his client, a former soldier and a supervisor at a local security company for almost a decade, was the breadwinner for his young children and was also responsible for maintaining a 75-year-old woman who he was caring for. The court remanded Rose back into custody until this coming Monday, November 28th. Meanwhile, Rushane Patterson, the man accused of Townsend's murder, will have his bail application heard on December 15th. Police investigations suggest that Townsend visited Montego Bay on October 20th and was seen with Patterson at a restaurant in the area, and then subsequently the pair was spotted together at a guest house in the parish of St. James. Authorities believe there was an argument between the two, resulting in Patterson strangling Townsend and disposing of her body in the sea. The partially nude body of the social media influencer was discovered off the coast between St. James and Hanover parishes on October 21st. Also in Jamaica, authorities have captured and deported a 71-year-old American citizen who had been hiding out for over a decade in an attempt to evade prosecution on child molestation charges. Charles Manord Rainey was facing charges for aggravated child molestation, and sexual battery after allegedly assaulting a minor in Georgia in 2010. When he failed to appear in court for his July 2011 court date, U.S. authorities issued a bench warrant for his arrest. In that same year, Rainey was issued a 6-month entry visa when he arrived in Jamaica. 10 years onwards, the fugitive was captured in St. James during a raid by Jamaican and U.S. law enforcement agents. Rainey admitted to overstaying his visa and was deported to Georgia last Friday. Barbadian attorney Ernest Winston Jackman is facing over 6 years in prison after being convicted and sentenced for stealing money from his clients. The disgraced attorney denied stealing some $600,000 from a local business between June 2006 and March 2007, and also pleaded not guilty to charges of money laundering stemming from his alleged disposal of his ill-gotten gains. In his last court appearance in May of this year, Jackman said that he had already repaid half of the funds in question and committed to remitting the balance. However, in court on Wednesday, King's counsel Alric Scott, representing the complainant, said that this has not materialized. Justice Pamela Beckles sentenced Jackman to 7 years behind bars. However, he will spend 6 years and 151 days more in prison after his time on remand was accounted for. Also in Barbados, murder-accused Hakeem Roberto Stewart was found guilty by a unanimous decision of the jury following almost 4 hours of deliberation. Stewart was on trial for the March 2019 homicide of 32-year-old Damien Trotman at Sheraton Centre in Christchurch. According to police, Trotman was standing outside the entrance of KFC at Sheraton when gunshots rang out. Moments later, he was seen lying lifeless on the floor and was subsequently pronounced dead at the scene. The 24-year-old defendant had pleaded not guilty to the charges against him, but at the conclusion of his 3.5-week trial, all 12 members of the jury voted to convict. His sentencing is scheduled for January 27, 2023. In Antigua and Barbuda, a man was fined 350 EC dollars after being convicted of tossing a bag of Chinese food over the walls of His Majesty's prison. On Sunday, 21-year-old Javante Lloyd was observed by police carrying a white bag outside the eastern side of the prison wall. He then threw the bag over the wall and fled, but officers gave chase and tracked him down to an area known as Teacher's Place. Lloyd told the officer who caught him that he was sending some food for someone inside. The 21-year-old had recently been released from prison himself, having been sentenced to 10 months in jail for a larceny conviction in April of this year. In court on Wednesday, Lloyd pleaded guilty to the offense of conveying, apologized, and promised not to repeat his crime. Magistrate Conliffe Clark gave Lloyd a week to pay his fine or else face imprisonment for 2 months.